Welcome back to week 5 of the Quake Pro League. I'm 40 Lions, joined by the legend DJ Wheat and Lethal. Welcome, gentlemen, to the last featured match of the day. It's going to be rapha versus Av3k.
Yeah. I think it's safe to say it's going to be a spicy affair indeed, isn't it? Nice old school way to finish things up in the final series of the evening. And yeah, just going to see how things will pan out here. Av3k's been not looking too bad, but let's be honest here, rapha hasn't dropped a map at all so far this season, so it's going to be a little bit dicey here for Av3k.
Yeah, starting with rapha, like he looks to be in great shape, right? He's in a situation where he's like, you know what, I like winning. I'm gonna keep doing that. I know I'm capable of doing that. We all know he's capable of doing that. He's definitely had, I think, a rapha-esque season based off of his number 2 position. A win here would put him at number 1 with 5 wins and no losses. So this is I think a big moment for Av3k, right? He's won 3, currently sitting at slot number 11. And in some of the games that we've seen so far here in the last 4 weeks, he's looked pretty good. He just hasn't been able to pull out as many victories as I think he would have liked to.
Yeah, a bit of a rough start for Av3k, and rapha kind of just another day at the office, it almost feels like, not dropping a map. It's crazy that we're even talking like that, but that is kind of what we've become accustomed to with rapha. But yeah, this is a big test for Av3k right here to see if he could bring his A game. I mean, he is one of the best players in the league. Unfortunately, right now, his leaderboard standing doesn't really necessarily reflect that, but it is early on in the season as well. So We'll see exactly how it breaks down. I think we have the pick bands ready so we can get a better idea of what we got between these two. It looks like Corrupted Keep to start us off, a little bit of Molten Falls, and then Awoken. Wheat or Lethal, either one. You want to walk me through the champs? Wheat, I know a champion that you love that I see on that first map.
We get the Scale Anarchy matchup, the David Goliath on Corrupted Keep, and we've seen rapha with his Scale, right? And he plays Bully Scale. He wears the Bully skin, so that is automatically going to be a very interesting matchup there on Corrupted Keep. Molten Falls, the Athena, which rapha has heavily favored as of late, versus the Nyx. So we get to see, that matchup again, just on a different map. We saw it on Awoken in the last one. On Molten, I think we're not going to necessarily see some of the same dynamics we saw in game number 1, but I like that matchup. And then finally ending up with a Doom versus Ranger on Awoken. You saw Visor was the ban there for that one. So I think map 1, this is kind of, there's a question mark over my head all times. I just don't quite get it, but Molten Falls is one I'm probably most excited for.
Quite interesting actually looking at this map pick, because Veil's been banned, and I know rapha's quite keen on it, but statistically Av3k has not been too shabby on Veil either. But yeah, the first map is going to tell the tale of the story, isn't it, really? Not of the entire series, but that matchup alone with the heavy versus light champion picks. Av3k's going to be looking to try and keep his distance, of course, with the heavy machine gun and rockets. See if he can preemptively trying to do some initial damage in order to take rapha down, keeping away from that bull rush. There's a lot of different indicators there, but it's going to be a tough match for Av3k. It does have that inject in his back pocket as he sees fit, but yeah, it's going to be quite tough for him. We'll have to see how that goes or how that planned out. But you can see rapha as well has also banned that Strog in the first map. Second one, I don't know it's going to be super aggressive or super passive. We know that Molten Falls is an incredible map in itself, but with the Athena coming from rapha, it's more Av3k to pick and choose how he's going to select those fights, and he does have that Ghost Walk to get away. And Awoken, very standard picks, but who's going to come out on top is going to be a different question.
I just love the fact that, look, I love all the new blood coming into Quake Pro League and playing the game and getting better and better and showing people that you can get into this game, but I also love these titans going against each other, because think about it, rapha and Av3k have played each other multiple times in this game, across titles, different modes, all of this stuff. There's a lot of history here that people may not know that are new to the show or new to the league. So I just love seeing stuff like this. I'm not really sure which way it's going to go. Tend to lean towards rapha just because, again, he is kind of the end boss. He has the most title victories so far at 4. Again, Kilson nipping at the heels, rocking 3, trying to tie it up at 4 this year. But something like this is just pretty historic, and I think it's so cool that we get to just see this on just a Saturday. You know what I mean? So regardless of how it goes, I'm just excited and really glad that we get to do this stuff. So taking a look at the chat predictions, though, they are 83% in favor of rapha for map number 1, so they're not as kind. But, I mean, what are you going to do? It's every Saturday's Quake, and anything can happen. We've already seen some upsets today, so...
Is that 83% for rapha or for Scale?
We do need a disclaimer right there. You're right, because the champ matchup is a little one-sided in my opinion. Anarchy going up against the Scale is going to be rough. We've already saw what Scale can do thanks to Strong Sage. So just saying, you might be right, Wade, on that one, but we'll see. We'll see how this shakes out between these two. And I think for now, Lethal, you've done a great job, but why don't you just leave?
Oh, stop it. Oh, stop it.
You're hogging wheat, and I'm sick of it. So.
I've had enough. I'm getting out.
Be gone. Be gone. Wheat, how are you? It's always good to
I'm great,
share the booth
man.
with you.
I'll tell you what, I'm not. I thought that we would have a little bit different outcome, so I'm pretty than in map or in game number 1. So I'm stoked, right? Like the adrenaline's flowing right now because that was such a great matchup, and congrats again to Sirius for pulling that out. But I'd like to see some more fireworks here.
Yeah, we'll see. And again, Av3k has all the opportunity in the world right now because, to be completely fair, I feel like a lot of people are going to say this is another rapha win, easy, next. But Av3k has all the ability in the world to show up and be like, guys, I'm a legend in my own right. Like, I may not have the title victories, but I'm here to play. I've played Quake for a while. I know what I'm doing. I've gone up against rapha. So this is one for the books, in my opinion.
I mean, 40, haven't you noticed that lately, especially in these last 4 weeks, a lot of people have said, oh, this is X player's game, easy peasy, lemon squeezy, and then, here's an upset, or it is not as close as people think. Again, not a sign that you're all terrible predictors in chat. Just a sign that the competition is heating up so much, and compared to where even we were a season or 2 ago, there is just an incredible amount of talent, and we're going to start seeing closer and closer games, and that's exciting.
Yeah, and absolutely a sign that most of them are terrible people. Anyways, we're going to get into map number 1 here shortly. Corrupted Keep is live. This is going to be our last set of the day. Second featured match, rapha versus Av3k. We are live right now on map number 1.
We are, and we're looking at rapha right off the bat. He's just standing down below there in the HUD, so stick it up on the thing. But anyway, I like rapha playing Scale just because he does tend to play really, really bullyish, right? He loves to get in people's faces. He loves to pin them up against the wall and paint the walls with red. But will he be able to do that here? Oh, he almost immediately goes there. Av3k is quick to get out of there, and so that's one and done, but still 0-0.
He wants absolutely no part of that. And you're right. I mean, rapha's not afraid to use Scale and throw his weight around, literally. A little bit of a skirmish here. The Tribal trying to keep him at bay. Rapha with some decent dodging here. Trying to decide which way he wants to go. The items aren't up for a long time. That's that good machine gun cess that we talked about earlier. That's going to be so crucial, especially for Av3k here. He is outstacked based on the champion picks by a lot.
Yeah, and that's something we've seen, rapha kind of utilize for a real long time, right? I mean, you just look at the evolution of the last 3 seasons or so. We weren't seeing Tribolt as much as we do see now in the early seasons. I think heavy machine guns used even more, especially on a map here like Corrupted Keep. So it does become one of those essential pieces of your arsenal that you kind of have to be really good and know how you can use that, especially depending on the champ map, the matchup, and the actual match. But here we go. We're going to see LG right off the bat, and rapha decides to kind of go for bull rush, but it doesn't really do much for him, and I think that's fine. If he can control space, that'll work out for him, but Av3k does manage to go in there and steal away that mega. Still 0-0.
Bit of a rare bull rush there where he just used it to deny resources instead of going in to fully engage, and he knew he was going to take a lot of damage going around the corner. So I like the play, but Av3k was able to swoop in and grab the mega off the back of that. So stacks kind of about even, all things considered, and just like that, rapha's able to get the bull rush back almost instantaneously, it feels like.
Some nail gun damage coming out of that teleporter right there. And I mean, considering in the game that we saw in the last featured matchup, we had a 9-10 score. This is definitely much slower, but I have a feeling that if that first frag breaches the threshold, then it's going to start picking up in speed here quite a bit. rapha in a great spot, does find his opponent in the back hallway, so lands a very nice rocket into some machine gun damage, and Av3k is in a rough spot. Now, Will he be able to recover from this one? There's a rocket jump up to the top. Oh, that rocket almost beautiful. And there's the bully into the wall. The kickflip can't save him this time, and Rapha's on the board with 1.
Absolutely brutal. It was just a matter of time, a little bit of a tickle, and now Av3k in a bad way. He's actually gonna just go right into the LG. Now off the spawn, good delay there. Making sure he doesn't get caught, but he might run right back into it, and this is gonna be bad here. Actually good damage from down below, making sure that he tries to get this Mega a little bit early from Rapha. And he does win himself the Mega, so good aggression there from Av3k to not just let that item go and say, no, I need this more than you, and I'm here to fight.
Yeah, I mean, lost the 2 frags, but I think recovered well. Didn't let Rapha pick up too much momentum there, but it does seem like Rapha has the majority of control here as he continues to oh my God, yes, what a nice mid-air for his first frag right there. And I think that's how you got to handle that aggression, right? Is plus back, get some momentum, fire those rockets, you hit the wreck like that, you're gonna get some damage done 2-1.
It was absolutely sickening. That was a beautiful play from Av3k, and you're absolutely right. Use your speed with the Anarchy, gain some space, and just hit that damage, and just picked him out of the sky. That was absolutely gorgeous. Hope to see that on the highlight reel. I'm sure we will, as now the battle for the light armor. In a bad way here. Lots of damage. Av3k able to kickflip past it and tie it at 2.
I have a feeling that might have been a mouse shake moment there for Rapha. He was not hitting those rockets the way I think he thought he should be, and Av3k was on top of that LG. Very, very nicely done. So Av3k for the first time with a real solid stack, and here it's going to give him an opportunity to try to be a bully himself as he, nice rocket from Rapha as he's trying to get into position, come around the side, and there the bull rush is kind of the fake, but a double rocket again as he does decide to circle back, and it does not work out for him. Av3k with a conversion frag possibly, and he does grab it. Nicely done and great play here by Av3k.
Hit the 5-minute mark. Av3k 2 frags ahead, and Twitch chat in shambles right now. Amazing rockets from Rapha. Av3k had to use the inject and still hanging by a thread right now. Insane damage coming out from Rapha, and now it's just a matter of a tickle. Can he get the last bit of damage? And he does. Good LG though. Melting away Rapha's armor, he is able to grab a light, but some good play from Av3k right now.
It was. Av3k got a lot of damage that even though he lost that battle, I mean, it could have been a lot worse if Rapha would have walked away much healthier and with the armor that he had. So that LG, I think, was pretty big. Av3k still in the lead by 1, so he's a good spot. Big, oh my God! The LG we have just been seeing all day long has been absolutely incredible. And unfortunately, Rapha couldn't pick up that Mega 40.
Oh, he doesn't get the shotgun blast off in time. Wow. Av3k up by 3. He's hitting 45% LG. I know you're thinking against a scale bearer, that's not that great, but we kind of sleep on Av3k's mechanics, and he gets another one. Av3k is a mechanical beast as well. Put him along with the series and all these other players. And like I said, he's been around. He ain't new to the show.
Yeah. I think he knew exactly what his game plan was going to be here versus Rapha, and Rapha's kind of playing right into Av3k's hands. I mean, some great spawns here coming out for Av3k as he is going to clean up 2 easy frags off of that conversion right there. And we went from, you know, a 3-4 tied game to now 3-9 for Av3k, and you're just kind of like, but he's playing Anarchy. How is it possible? He's hitting shots like this. Frankly, Rapha putting himself into position to be hit by a lot of these shots, and Av3k just capitalizing on it.
Wow, that machine gun damage is so insane. Av3k hanging on by a thread. That was quite the skirmish near the Mega. The bull rush came out a little bit early to get the item, and Av3k actually dropped onto the bull rush, got popped straight into the air, but somehow both players survive. Rapha desperately looking for a frag to try and open this up and make a run down 6 with less than 3 minutes.
Yeah, and I mean, making a run, he might be able to start it right here, but no, another great pair of rockets coming out from Av3k, and he just always seems to have exactly in his hands what he needs to have. Rapha clearly has to be experiencing some frustration here. as it's not really working out the way that I think he would have liked it to. A lot of those bull rushes have not hit their mark. He only had the one painting the walls, but now Av3k up by 12. This is becoming a lost cause here for Rapha as these seconds continue to tick away, and Av3k is just making all the right choices. His aim is 100% just on the money, and he continues to just control this game. That is like
He's hitting
four
40
perfectly placed rockets, just perfect.
He's hitting 48% rockets. Like, what world is that normal? That's crazy.
It was that little that 4 pair right there, 4 in a row was just too good. And the LG has been absolutely incredible. So I think Rapha at this point knows, okay, I'm not gonna win this game, right? I'm just gonna kind of play to warm up. There's another direct rocket coming out, and 4-16 people are gonna look at the score line for this one, 40, and they're gonna say, I've got to watch this one to find out how Av3k manages to do it. But he's looking to pull away even further.
I agree, and no disrespect, I feel like they might look at the score and be like, no, they flipped the name, something's wrong. But no, you're watching Av3k dismantle Rapha right now on Corrupted Keep. This is live, this is real. And my question is, how are we going to see Rapha bounce back? I mean, we've seen earlier today a lot of people lose a map that maybe they shouldn't have or didn't expect to, and it's all about that mental fortitude, about being able to bounce back and take the other maps. There's still 2 maps left in the set, lots of game to play. So Rapha, out of all the players, probably has the strongest, maybe one of the strongest abilities to just stay focused and go map by map. This obviously didn't go his way, but hats off to Av3k because this was an insane display. And for those trying to make excuses for the home version, I mean, this is an EU server, but I don't know how much that plays into it because Av3k just played this perfectly, in my opinion.
Av3k did play perfectly. I think he had a very clear game plan going up against a scale bearer. Right, against other players, maybe that game plan would have kind of fallen apart, but Av3k seemed to stick to it. It played out pretty well. I think probably there was a little bit of Rapha saying, I should have hit that, or this should have done, and so I'm just going to kind of sit here and LG you down. Again, didn't really work out. 8-17 is going to be the final score of this one, and that will be a map dropped for Rapha. Now, series is not done yet. Av3k would need to win here on Molten or Awoken, but certainly a phenomenal start for Av3k in our final featured match.
Absolute hell of a start, and I even think I saw the little profile picture of Rapha just kind of roll its eyes, which is impossible physically. But yeah, a lot of the rockets seemed to not connect the way that Rapha was hoping, whether or not that opened up the game even more for Av3k. Like you said, he had a game plan, he stuck to it, executed it perfectly. Rapha stuff aside, I think it was just really well played from Av3k, and especially with that matchup going up against the scale as an Anarchy, you need a game plan. You can't just really go on there and be like, all right, well, let me see how it goes. You got to have an idea of how you want to play it and how you want to create space, and Av3k executed that really well.
Yeah, he did, and we'll get to watch a few of these frags. Right, started off, Rapha. Here's his game plan. Get a little aggressive. Throw it out there. This was a big turning point right here.
Whoa,
beautiful rocket.
Gorgeous.
I was watching through Rapha's POV right there. That one was probably incredibly frustrating for Rapha right there. He was trying to hit those rockets, and Av3k was just unrelentless with that LG at that point. And at this point, then it really started going back in favor of Av3k as you suddenly see that score line bump up by 10. And it was well played. Well played game there by Av3k.
Yeah, really, really well played. Fantastic start to the set as well. And again, looking to 2-0, maybe 3-0. I mean, the potential's there. And what a statement that would make to the rest of the league. Again, not the best start for Av3k. 1-3 right now, sitting on the leaderboards. But map over on Rapha, looking to add more. He's in prime position right now, and let's see if chat has put a little more respect on his name. It looks like the breakdown is going to be about 64% in favor of Rapha and Molten Falls compared to 34-33 fluctuating. So a little bit more people believe now. Wait, a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You've also probably got the same people that are like, you know, the way you play is that you just put it on one color, one player, but then if they lose, then you put twice as much on that next player on the next one, and if they lose again, just keep doubling down.
I feel attacked because you're You're absolutely describing my roulette play.
Strategy.
I feel so attacked, but that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. You don't have to blow me up like that.
We mentioned that we'd seen this champ matchup in featured match number 1. It was, of course, on Awoken, a lot different map. So larger map. Certainly both players with the grapple and then the ghost walk going to come into play, but I think we'll have a little bit different pacing. It'll be very interesting to see if Rapha's going to come back for some, some Wick vengeance.
Oh, we might see it again. One of the best players at being able to adapt both mid-game, but also mid-set. I mean, different map, different champs. He's going to stay focused. Again, for what it's worth, I'm not biased either way. It's going to be an NA server, whatever. But it's going to be a nice, interesting 10 minutes to see how Rapha bounces back after that dismantling on Corrupted Keep. So we are going to be live on Molten Falls, map number 2 between these two. Av3k working on taking the set in 2. We'll find out in about 10 minutes as we're live on Av3k.
Yeah, that would be such a huge victory here for Av3k, and I think we just kind of have to see how both these players are going to approach this one. Will we see some ghost walk play going into that heavy? We're going to immediately have a battle as Rapha's going to turn up the heat there as he comes around the corner, doubles back, and wow, Rapha getting right on top of Av3k. Great rail to put his first frag on the board.
I love the play from Rapha, knowing that he forced out the Ghost Walk. He hooks away to make sure he doesn't get telefragged or anything, but he also takes away those hourglasses immediately to make sure the Ghost Walk is as delayed as possible. It's a nice play from Rapha right off the start. And I think we talked to him a little bit ago about what his favorite champ is, or maybe he was talking about it on his stream. I think he says Athena is one of his favorite champs, if not the favorite. I know Visor and him are very, dynamic duo, but lately I think he loves playing Athena. Needs to be careful, though, as he hooks back down using that pillar, but Av3k able to thread the needle right past and grab that shoulder and take that frag and tie it at 1. A shot.
Very nicely done. Confidence in that rail. Now Rapha looking to keep the pressure on, but is going to have a rotation over to the Mega. Great rocket right on top of his head. Unfortunately, the second one doesn't follow up, and Av3k does steal away that Mega. Which means that he has both of those major items right now. Going to make his way in with the grapple. Some huge momentum, but it doesn't work out for him. Av3k was ready for it. Lands a nice rocket. Follows up, I think, with the shotgun there for the kill. And it is now Av3k once again in the lead. He's looking real nice, 40.
Yeah, looking real good here, up by 1. Rapha is able to grab that heavy, but gets railed on his way to the Mega. Needs to be careful. Oh, that rocket was almost straight to the face. Luckily, just grazed on the second. And able to get out of there with the Mega and grab this light armor. But wow, these shots from Av3k dealing damage right now, Wheat.
They are. And he's had, I think the better control so far. Hit some really crucial rails. Certainly still a lot of time, but Rapha looks like he wants to go for this heavy. He does. And will put himself in a position to try to fight Av3k on the top level. Not hitting those rails, though. Right now, only 16% rail. And huge LG, though, gets blasted up into the air, almost launched 40 with that shotgun blast, but it wasn't enough. Rapha pretty low, but is able to recover, and he tied that game back up.
Yeah, really nice LG there. Keep building distance as well. If Av3k was even closer with that shotgun blast, it would have hurt more, and this might hurt more. There's the heavy pickup. Rail from down low won't connect, but Av3k will hit one of them as now getting away, trying to make it back to the Mega, but again, another skirmish here. Av3k just dives right in, trying to steal it away, but that's actually going to cost him his life, and Rapha's back up by 1.
Did he just think Rapha wasn't quite there yet? Or I have to imagine he was not thinking Rapha was there. Did not
I'm not sure.
Like a drop into his favor, but what do I know? Popping out of the mid-air, Av3k trying to get a drop there on Rapha, but he was ready for it. Rapha's now squeezed 2 out as he is hitting perfect defensive shots here as well, and really reading Av3k quite well. It's put him up to 2 frag lead. He's got full control over the map. Av3k really struggling. Try to get some armor here on his back. Another rocket in. Both of those miss. The LG easy cleanup 40. And Rapha's looking to maybe try to widen this gap.
47% LG on a Nyx. That's pretty nuts. Rapha tracking is amazing right now. He's doing really well to kind of establish himself on the map and start taking control over the whole thing. He does give up the Mega, but he might get some damage here, and there's that exit rail. And that's good enough for him. I mean, he wasn't there to pick up the item, but he was there for the exit damage, and that's kind of what he wants, especially with already having a 3-frag lead.
4 minutes and 14 seconds on the clock, 40. There's still plenty of time. I would not be surprised to see Av3k at least claw back a frag or two, but rapha seems to have kind of found his groove now. Another big LG into the corner off of that one. Ghostwalk does come out, but he catches him again. Beautiful rail as the opponent approaches that Mega, and he will be rewarded with it and has a 4-frag lead.
And Av3k just having to blow that Ghostwalk because he knew he was going to get floated all the way to his death. So he pops the Ghostwalk and then just not quick enough. Rapha had positioning on the Mega, so now Av3k just doesn't really have the resources. Rapha trying to rain down rockets from above, but fancy footwork from Av3k. He's actually going to get out of here decently unscathed. There's a little bit of a tickle. He might not survive, and there's the last beat of LG. Able to take him down, and up 5 now, looking stronger and stronger as Rapha.
Oh, again. Jumping right onto that Mega, taking a little bit of LG damage. Ghostwalk does come out. I'm sure that is not how Av3k really wanted to utilize that, but that's the second time that's happened for him. And once again, Rapha. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, you're absolutely right. I wonder if it's just not assuming he's there, not ready for it, but he just seems to be diving onto the Mega, and that's cost him 2 frags and big damage. It's curious.
It is. It is. What's going on in the head of Av3k? I don't know. Another LG battle with Rapha coming out on top, 9-2. The tables really turned here. These two players, as Rapha seems to have kind of found his comfort zone. Another LG battle there near rail, and we're 6 minutes in, and Rapha's starting to run away with this one.
Yeah, definitely opening this one up, feeling comfortable, but he's also not one to just kind of stop and play defensive. He wants to keep adding to the tally here with fantastic rail. Av3k needs to just wait a little bit as he's down to 50 HP, no armor, and Rapha has positioning for this Mega pickup for free. Oh man, that rocket would have been brutal.
Super brutal. And Av3k still trying to, he has not had much luck with that position up on the top. There he finally lands the rail. Gets his opponent down to 11 points of health. Quick recovery with the bubbles near Mega. And here comes Av3k barreling around the corner once again. Out of Ghostwalk, direct rocket, and 2 direct rockets. Rapha somehow survives again. Av3k goes down for the easy kill, but he misses that rail, and Rapha picks up another one. I don't blame Av3k for doing that. He knew that he put some serious damage there on Rapha, but it was unfortunate that he missed that rail, and Rapha immediately came back to get the frag. 12-2 now with 3 minutes left to go.
Yeah, I mean, time is of the essence. He has to start pushing, so I don't blame Av3k for going for that refrag at all. As the time is ticking, he's got to start playing even more aggressive than he'd like to, but Rapha is ready. The LG initially forcing Rapha back as he's trying to defend this rail. Does hit one, might hit another here. As up 10, the Sausage King of Chicago has really been linking these frags together. Av3k trying to make his way onto the heavy, does take 1 rocket. Rapha now very, very weak, 66 HP. Gonna take the time to just bounce out of there. Grab a light armor, might even be able to fight for the Mega, but it looks like he just wants to stay alive and try and run down some more of this clock to really make sure that no shenanigans happen, Weed.
I mean, I think, I don't know if any shenanigans can, you know, happen at this point. 2 minutes left. Ooh, almost hits that rail. Through the teleporter, follows up with another one up top. And yeah, I think shenanigan time is officially over and done with. 40, we're in a shenanigan safe or shenanigan free zone. So Rapha's going to finally take this one. I mean, the good news is going into game 3, we're now tied 1 game apiece, and that means that the third map, Awoken, will be the decider. Big for Rapha to keep his undefeated record here throughout the season, but Av3k could really use a win, sitting at 1-3 right now, ranked number 11. And it'll all come down to Awoken.
Yeah, you almost feel like if you get a win against Rapha, it should count as 2 maybe in this league, but we'll see. That's a nice little combo, rocket to rail there. Minute 10 left on the board. Av3k trying to push in for this mega LG on LG, going toe-to-toe, and Rapha's got the best of him with the stack.
Yeah, it's going to be 13-2 now. Rapha's going to cleanly take this game number 2 in the same way that Av3k cleanly took that game at number 1. They pass each other like two ships in the night with that ghost walk, but then suddenly materializing out of the fog 40. It's Av3k. Unfortunately, he takes the bigger part of that damage. Nice rail. Can't follow up with the second one, and Rapha's on top of it. 14-2, 30 seconds left to go. He's got this one in the bag, and we're just going to have rail wars.
What's happening? 2 HP. Oh, there's a freebie.
Nope.
Insta-gib. Who's going to win this last 15 seconds? Don't be a coward. Keep your rail out. I'm just kidding.
Let's just go to the center and battle with some gauntlets here for the final moments of this game. We're going to be tied 1 game apiece. I think that's where kind of people thought we'd be, but 14-2. Kind of swap roles on this one, 40. It was a dominant performance coming out from Rapha.
Through and through, it was all the Rapha show on that one. And yeah, going to map number 3, Awoken. It's going to be Doom for Rapha and Ranger for Av3k. The Classico, I think you mentioned this before, where it's like whoever wins, we're going to get a new title in that, you know, realm, in that universe.
Dude, that came true.
I know, that's the thing that was crazy. If you haven't checked it out, you should. We'll see. We'll see if it happens again. But we'll also see how both players are going to approach this. I mean, we are going to go back to an EU server, whether or not you want to factor that in. I just don't care anymore. I'm too old for that. But, I mean, a fantastic display, able to bounce back is Rapha after that first map and assert dominance through and through. I mean, Av3k had some great plays, but, I mean, look at the scoreline, man. All the plays, it was all Rapha.
Yeah, I mean, if you really start looking back, you can't work backwards from the score and then go, how did it all happen? I would say the two biggest kind of points of the game were when Av3k had kind of barreled onto the Mega, and it became a free frag for Rapha in both of those situations. Not quite sure, right, if it was just more to keep in with the timing, but those two frags kind of set Rapha up to just sort of run with it at that point. Av3k also wasn't having as much luck defending from that upper area in the heavy, whereas, Rapha seemed to be, attacking from the bottom or from the middle area. So, yeah, I mean, we'll have to see what happens in Awoken now.
All comes down to map number 3. The decider between these two. Av3k has already put a bit of a blemish on Rapha's map record. Can he put a blemish on his series record here for Quake Pro League? We will see. Week 5 might be the week where Av3k says, you know what? I'm taking this. This one's mine.
Yeah, it could be, and with this sort of classic matchup, I don't know. I'm hoping that this one is I hope it is close. But I don't know. I don't know how this one's going to play out.
Yeah, first 2 maps pretty snowbally. It would be wonderful to see more of a chess match here and a back and forth, but you never know. Taking a quick peek at the predictions before we hop in map number 3, it looks like 69% in favor of Rapha. Real nice. We'll see. That's fluctuating a little bit between 68-69%. But yeah, I mean, the chat still firmly believes in Rapha. We'll see. Av3k has something to say about that. He already showed on map number 1 that he's here to play. So we'll see what map number 3 has in store for us. It is going to be Awoken, and I think we're loading up. I think I heard the noise, Weed. So this is going to be it. The last map of the day. The decider between Rapha and Av3k. Is this going to be the first series loss of the season for Rapha? 10 minutes until we're able to tell the story.
Yeah, it might be. And that'd be, I mean, I think people would be okay with that, right? We've talked about how close the games are and the players are this season. And we're seeing it in full display here in week number 5. We are officially going live with a 3, 2, 1 and starting out through the eyes of Rapha. It's a little bit of damage there right off the bat, but more importantly, grabs that heavy, immediately goes for the rail. Now, will he spend any time trying to keep the rail out of the hands of his opponent? I don't know if that's fully in his game plan. He does circle back around. So far, so good. Strategy we see quite a bit here on Awoken, but it's also a strategy we've seen people kind of over-prioritize and it not really work out. And Rapha seems like he is staying on the move.
Yeah, able to swipe first set of items, but now the positioning a little bit rough, and the dire orb going a little bit further. but now Av3k able to grab both, and he can fall back onto the heavy, but he takes so much damage, needs to be careful. The LG push in from rapha isn't gonna be enough. The machine gun trying to hold him at bay, but the machine gun from rapha able to come out on top with one bullet to the face to end it 1-0 for rapha. But wow, that was quite the battle right there, and a nice orb play from Av3k to steal both.
It was. I think Av3k coming over the side there and giving rapha some of those shot opportunities was a little unfortunate. You know, he was hitting 100% rail for a moment there with 2 rails shot. But Av3k still, you know, he's still keeping the pressure on, not really giving any sort of... Ooh, the double rail coming out. Oh, is he going to get it? Oh, I thought Av3k was just going to go back for that rail, but he didn't. So rapha up now by 2. Rafa's definitely feeling it, right? If he was not in game number 1, we saw him start to come out in game number 2, and based off of what we're seeing now, like, this looks like full-on rapha, I'm feeling it mode right now.
Yeah. Maybe I'm feeling it / I'm a little angry right now. You've angered me, kind of, rapha. Trying to do damage on this heavy. Av3k staying the hell out of the way, but walking into that 100 damage rocket. That one's gonna hurt a little bit of LG as well, but rapha trying to avoid damage of his own. Another great rocket. Is he gonna push through the telly? And no, Av3k with the detour going off the jump pad. It still could be bad as the LG. Is it gonna land? Av3k looking for one last rail, but can't find it. rapha takes him down 3-0.
Rapha looking a lot more confident in his LG in this game number 3. No, at least than he was in game number 1. He was really struggling versus his Av3k's Anarchy. But seems to be a little bit different now. Up there, 3. Orb does come out. They kind of like float next to each other for a little bit. Rapha has got to quickly try to get the hell out of there. And he does. No armor stack right now. Needs to definitely be careful. No! Goes down, opponent drop right on top of his head. But it manages to get out yet again, 40.
Wow.
Sneaky.
Some of those shots were crazy from both players. Somehow both surviving, but Av3k still trailing by 3. A little bit of machine gun damage from up top, swapping the rockets. Back to machine gun for both players here. Av3k doing the dance, trying to melt down rapha. Rapha grabs a health bubble. Av3k in a bitter position here. He's going to push in to try and get the frag, and he does.
Maybe rapha overstayed his welcome. He started with that Midwest goodbye. They expected to leave 15 minutes ago, and then suddenly you're back in, and there we go. Av3k with another one. He's bringing it one step closer. I think rapha overstaying his welcome there in that fight resulted in the frag, and then the conversion frag right here. Rapha now off the spawn. Heavy is picked up by Av3k. But a lot of damage done. Av3k gonna decide to get out of there, but rapha looking to keep that pressure on. Wants to definitely let Av3k know, I'm on this map, I'm not going away.
Yeah, definitely wants to keep the pressure up, and also know that the dire orb shouldn't be back yet. Now that he's going through the banana, he might be a little more cautious. Doesn't want to get hit with it. There it is, right around the corner. Clips the pillar. And so again, rapha kind of knows that he could play a little more aggressive, knowing that the dire orb's down.
That's absolutely right. And heavy is seen by Av3k. Rapha, does he know? Is he just waiting for it? Yep, waiting for him out of that telly. He's gonna drop down with that LG. Might be an opportunity for Av3k to move in and grab it. No, but he's gonna fight defensively from up above. Av3k very hurt. Down to 2 points of health, and rapha with the cleanup to make it 4-2. He played that one quite nicely.
He did, and he had to swap the machine gun because he was out of cells. He just picks up the ammo box. He does have some more shaft, but just relentless, not willing to give Av3k an inch, and using that machine gun. There's the dire orb. Luckily for rapha, it doesn't take a lot of damage, but Av3k still keeping the pressure on. LG of his own. The rail will miss from rapha, and he's out of there through the telly. Both players extremely weak. Needs to be careful now. The mad dash for the heavy. Av3k's able to secure that. A little bit of a buckshot blast from up above. Oh!
Ooh.
That one was close. The
That
nails
was
almost took him
super
down.
close. That was a clincher right there. That was a clincher. I don't know if he thought Av3k was actually going to go through the teleporter, but he turned around and saw him all of a sudden. It's like, oh, crap. 5 minutes left in this game. Still very close. It's been some good aggression and good battles back and forth. LG battle that Av3k will win just as the heavy is spawning, and this is a big opportunity for Av3k, but he's super low. Rapha knows it. He can't get that final little tick of damage, and instead will just back off. Pac-Man up some of those health bubbles, and now sees it. Zero sees his opponent down below, and he should be able to pick up this frag. There it is. LG up the jump pad. Not much that Av3k could do, and Rapha can hold on to his 2-point lead.
Wow, really nice play there. Prioritizing the light, knowing that he still had LG and Av3k didn't have any weaponry, dropping down on the heavy to get the frag. I think he still might have timing on the Mega, but he's still a little bit weak, so Rapha might just try and rail from far away here. Going up the jump pad, that's a freebie, almost into another one. Great Dire Orb from Av3k to get the hell out of there.
That was a great shot from Rapha. Good decision from Av3k. It does mean that Orb is down for a little bit, gives Rapha some comfort. He's got to start thinking about these 3 frags and how he's going to bring them back. I like how we've seen Av3k playing Rapha with the rocket rail combo. Both players equal stacks. We're going to have Mega up here in just a moment. Great rail once again from Rapha, and I think he knows he's got the win on this Mega. As he dropped down below, nothing that Av3k can do. Orb comes out. It was his only option, and 7-3. Rapha with a 4 frag lead.
Looking more and more comfortable now. Av3k diving in with the LG, doing an insane amount of damage, 20 HP. 45 after the bubble pickup, little bit of light armor. He has to give up the heavy, and what a fadeaway rail from Rapha. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
Get the bucket!
Come on! That was Av3k right there. Like, how unbelievable rocket rail combo, and I mean the confidence level of Rapha in this map compared to what we've seen in the last 2 is gonna be more, right? He's just seems to be in sync with everything going on here on Awoken. There's another frag, 9-3. He continues to clean them up, and Av3k, the chances for a victory are slowly slipping away from him.
The light's slowly starting to dim, but this is a big opportunity here. But the rail again, so calm and collected, just lining it up, saying, I know you want the Mega. Here's the jump pad. Let me pre-aim this, and then he hits the shot. So clutch. Another rail as well, and Av3k running out of options. He's got to start pushing because time is of the essence, and the double jump into the daisy right there. A little bit of buckshot. And this is just, again, this has turned into the Rapha show.
Yeah, I mean, the last couple minutes, 40, have kind of been like, how does my opponent know what I'm going to do before I do it? That's what the feeling it has here. Now, Av3k does bring one back, and that's great, 11-4, but with 90 seconds left, I'm not sure that it's within the realm of possibility here. Rapha is, still throwing out all of these beautiful shots. We got rails through the murder hole. That time, Av3k does hit those, but I think they both know this one is going to be going Rapha's way. 6 frags. Is it possible? I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so indeed. Great rails from Av3k, though. He's chaining them together. There's the Dire Orb up to the T-Con to cut off and grab the light armor before the Mega pickup. But with a minute left, 6 frags, it would have to be turbo mode. And it would have to start with this. And just eating away these 5-6 seconds. I think that's it. Maybe, if he went on the most insane run we've ever seen. But Rapha, again, proving that you're never out until you're out. Until the buzzer hits, you keep playing the game. And throughout this set, after that first map, he's really turned it around, Weed.
He really has, and that's, I think, a quality and a skill set that you need. Oh, good. 40, it was like the explosion going off and Rapha turning around and putting his back to it and walking away as he lands the frag with the rocket. 12-5, GGs are exchanged, and Rapha will keep his undefeated series win with a 12-5 win in map 3. That will put Av3k down to 1-4 and Rapha up to 5-0, and I believe that also moves Rapha to the #1 position here in the QPL.
I think you are absolutely right. And yeah, cool guys that don't look at explosions, Weed. So saw it there firsthand. What a series, but Lethal, I know you were watching at the edge of your seat. Come on back. Talk to me, tell me something.
Bloody sidekick for you, not gonna lie to you. And yeah, it was a good series nonetheless. It wasn't the score lines I don't think any of us would have anticipated considering the series score overall, but yeah, great series nonetheless.
Fantastic series.
Yeah, I have to agree. I mean, Av3k played great on Keep. He was just all over it. We talked about his game plan. I think he absolutely stuck to it. It worked out quite well. Whether rapha thought, hey, I'm gonna go be bully with scale like I have been known to do so before. I don't know. But again, to be a champion, you've got to be able to take those types of games and put them aside and just play the game that you know you can play moving forward. And we've seen rapha do it time and time again. He demonstrates it right here. Great that Av3k was able to pick up that map, but even more impressive that we saw rapha kind of bring his composure back, center that, find whatever zen he needed to find, and then take the series with that final map.
Completely agree. As we take a look at the final map score there on Awoken and the weapon breakdown for both players, rapha is able to win 2 in a row, taking the set away. Av3k still strikes some blood. Rapha is mortal. He drops a map. It's not going to be a perfect season. Not on Av3k's watch.
I mean, I don't think anyone can have a perfect season anymore. When was the last time we saw it? It was technically season 1,
It feels
right?
like 13 years ago, but
yeah,
that's just
it does
because
seem
time
like
isn't
13
real,
years
so.
ago. You're right.
Yeah.
But I don't know that it can ever happen again, which is sad because I that was my favorite bet to make with Dan, but I can't do it anymore. I'll just lose, so.
Yeah, I suppose his perfect run. Well, I suppose it's technically got a perfect run, isn't it? Just that one map dropped, but yeah, it wouldn't be fair otherwise, would it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it's not spotless. It might still be perfect in
Just
terms of
not
the
cricket.
series. Well, as I usually do, I do have to break everyone's heart. We will not have an interview with rapha.
God, 40?
I know. I did it again. I'm
Jeez, man.
clip that and make that a
Unbelievable.
follower alert. But anyways, so at the end of the day, everybody leave. No, big thanks to you guys. It's always a pleasure to share the booth with you. Wheat, Lethal, thank you very much. Big shouts to production, PGL. Thank you for all that you do. Everyone behind the scenes, all the work and hours you put in. Chat, thank you so much. Even though some of you are just absolute piles of garbage, I still love you. It's fine. But appreciate you guys tuning in and having fun. I hope you had a wonderful day. It was a great day of Quake. We got more next week, but for now, we're going to say our goodbyes. Everybody, take care. Take care of yourselves and each other, and be safe, and we'll see you next week.